An awful lot of stuff has happened in our readings through the book of Acts over the last few days. Paul and Barnabas have been mistaken for Greek gods and then had rocks thrown at them when they turned out to be mere men. They've travelled from town to town healing and telling people about Jesus. The believers have confronted one another about whether Gentile Christians need to observe the Jewish law or not. Paul and Barnabas have had an argument with each other and split up. Paul and Silas get put in prison. I cannot hope to do justice to all of that in the next few minutes. I just want to pick up on one aspect about the council in Jerusalem. You see, as a Baptist church, we believe that every individual follower of Jesus has the capacity to hear his voice, and therefore the best way for us to discern the mind of Christ, for us to work out what he is saying to us, what he wants from us, is for all of us to come together to seek his will. So we have church members meetings, and these are designed to enable us to pray together, to worship together, and to listen to one another, and through doing so to hear from God. Sometimes we make mistakes at these meetings. They slip into being a democracy, which means that we're more interested in finding out what the majority of people want rather than hearing from God. We end up being led by the majority of people rather than the mind of Christ. Sometimes the mistake we make is getting so caught up in discussing things that have little kingdom impact that we neglect the things that God might be calling us to consider for his kingdom. I've sat in church meetings before where we've spent more than an hour talking about what colour cushions the new chairs should have, and then spending no time at all talking about what we might do to get more people to sit on those new chairs. For me, the council in Jerusalem is a good example of some of the things that church meetings should have, some of the ways it can be done right. People arrive with different opinions. Some want Gentile believers to be circumcised. Some think that would be crazy. It's a really important issue. Does the law of Moses still apply to followers of Jesus, or does the teaching of Jesus in some way supersede it? This is going to impact the way in which the good news of Christ is shared and the way in which the church worships for the rest of history. They come together with different opinions. They consider together what the scriptures have to say, and they make a decision. Some of them change their minds. This is what our church meetings should be about. When we come together to make decisions as God's people, our focus should be on important things, on kingdom things. Arguing about inconsequential matters is a waste of our time that distracts from the mission God has given us. Our focus should be on kingdom building, on matters of worship and evangelism and pastoral care, on the things that I believe God has given us to do, on the things that have eternal value. And when we come to those meetings, we need to be prepared to change our minds. We should expect to hear the voice of God speaking through one another and be ready to follow where he leads, even if it's a place we'd rather not go. We need to be ready to agree with the minority opinion if that's where we sense the Lord speaking. In this, we as a church, we become not just another democratic organisation, but a movement of God's people led by him. And so I'd encourage you, if you are part of a church like ours that has a membership designed to seek the mind of Christ and make decisions based on that, and you're not already a member, join it. And if you are already a member, encourage your leaders to focus the discussions, those meetings, on things that have eternal value, on kingdom building, rather than getting caught up in the inconsequential.